Hi guys, Scott here from TEPIS Paranormal, and I'm back with day 13 of the TEPIS Paranormal Christmas Advent Calendar. So today we're going to be looking at the Myrtles Plantation. Located in St. Francisville, Louisiana, the Myrtles Plantation is a historic home and former plantation built in 1796 by General David Bradford. The home is reported to be on top of an ancient Tunica Indian burial ground. Bradford originally lived in the house alone until President John Adams pardoned him from his role in the Pennsylvania Whiskey Rebellion of 1799, at which point he moved his wife and children to the plantation also. Upon his death in 1808, Elizabeth, his widow, continued to run the plantation until 1817, when she handed management to one of Bradford's former law students, Clark Woodruff, who was married to her daughter, Sarah Matilda. The Woodruffs had 3 children, Africa Gale, James and Mary Octavia, before Sarah and 2 of her children died in 1924 of yellow fever. Upon the death of Elizabeth Bradford in 1831, Woodruff and Mary Octavia moved away from the house and left a caretaker to manage the plantation before selling the property in 1834. The property and its slaves were sold to Ruffin Gray Sterling, at which point Sterling and his wife Mary Catherine Cobb undertook an extensive renovation of the property, including its name change from Laurel Grove to the Myrtles Plantation, after the crepe myrtles that grew nearby. Sterling died in 1854 and left the property to his wife, Mary. After the house survived the American Civil War, William Drew Winter was hired to manage the property. Winter was married to Sterling's daughter, Sarah, and they had 6 children, one of whom died aged 3 from typhoid. In 1871, William Winter was killed on the porch of the house by a man named E.S. Weber. After this, Sarah and Mary stayed at the property until Sarah's death in 1878 and Mary's death in 1880, at which point the property changed hands several times until it ended up being owned by Harrison Milton Williams in 1891. The Myrtles Plantation has 22 rooms spread across 2 floors, with the first floor featuring a spacious entry hall with a baccarat crystal chandelier weighing more than 300 pounds, a music room, ladies' and gentlemen's parlours, a formal dining room and a game room. Similarly, the second floor features 5 bedrooms with ensuite bathrooms and a sitting room. To the rear of the main house is the general store, which is also the oldest structure on the property. Originally, this is where General Bradford lived while the main structure of the house was being built, and currently serves as a gift shop and offices. In addition, a restaurant lies on the ground to the south, as well as several modern wooden cottages which are available to guests. In the 1950s, the house was sold to Marjorie Munson, who noticed odd occurrences around the property, leading to the start of the ghost stories. By the 1970s, the house was sold to James and Frances Kerman Myers, who ran the property as a bed and breakfast. Frances Myers wrote a book about the property, naming it the most haunted house in America. Currently, the property is owned by John and Tita Moss, who run the house as a bed and breakfast as well as a tourist attraction. The property is supposedly home of at least 12 ghosts, with more than 10 murders being reported to have taken place within. However, historical records only record the murder of William Winters to have taken place. William, who was shot on the porch, staggered inside the house and died trying to climb the stairs. He died in the 17th step of the stairs, and visitors as well as employees in the hotel still hear his dying footsteps to this day. The most famous ghost of the Myrtles is that of Chloe, a slave reportedly owned by Clark and Sarah Woodruff. There are 2 common variants of Chloe's story, the first of which has her as a mistress of Clark Woodruff, and the second has her listening through the keyhole of the Woodruff's office trying to find out some information. In both versions, she was caught and as punishment had her ear cut off, which she hid with a green turban. The story then goes that Chloe was supposedly hung by the other slaves and thrown into the Mississippi River, either as punishment or to escape punishment by Clark Woodruff for harbouring her. In addition to this story, the plantation is also reportedly haunted by a young girl who died in 1868, despite being treated by a local voodoo practitioner. She supposedly appears in the room in which she died, and has been reported to practice voodoo on people sleeping in the room. Finally, the spirits of Sarah Woodruff and 2 of her children reportedly haunt a mirror in the house. According to custom, mirrors are covered after a death, but legend says that after the passing of the Woodruffs, this particular mirror was overlooked, and now the spirits of Sarah and her children are occasionally seen in the mirror and leave handprints on it. So, could this plantation be haunted by the ghosts of a slave, the spirit of a family, a voodoo practitioner, and the ghost of a man shot on his own doorstep? Due to the popularity of these stories, many notable paranormal shows have visited the location, such as Ghost Hunters and Ghost Adventures, and with the place still in operation as a B&B, it's possible that evidence could still be captured in the future. But for now, I've been Scott from TEPIS Paranormal, and this has been day 13 of the TEPIS Paranormal Christmas Advent Calendar. I'll see you tomorrow.